Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen Osset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Alright guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to someone else who may like it as well. Also, if you have time, please drop us a comment in the comment section. Because I would love to see, out of the people that are out there, how many of you do this too. The other day, it cracked me up because an Aquarius said to me in the comment section that she talks to herself out loud. And she wanted to know if that was common for Aquarius. Do Aquarius commonly talk to themselves? So if you're an Aquarius or not, and you talk to yourself, please comment in the comment section, because she said that she does it out loud, and I do it too. And there was another Aquarius who says she does it as well. So I don't know if all Aquarius do this, but I do know that according to psychology, intelligent people do this, because they said that it's not really it's not a sign of insanity, which is what I thought it would be. Like if somebody's talking to themselves, are they off? Well, the thing about it is this: no, a smart person generally talks to themselves. So if you're Aquarius or not, if you're intelligent, chances are very high that you might talk to yourself sometimes. Because what you're doing, you're not really having a conversation with yourself. What you're doing is talking through whatever is going on in your mind. So they said air signs and other intelligent people are prone to talking to themselves. So you're talking out your problem. You're talking out the mathematical equation. You're talking out the scientific formula. You're talking it out. And you're not really talking to another person. You're just working it out. And that's really what's going on out up here, but it's coming out here. So some of us say it out loud, and some of us don't say it out loud, but it is the hallmark of a really intelligent person. So if you catch yourself talking to yourself, it's not because of the fact that you're, certifiable. It's time for us to take you to the loony bin. You're talking to yourself because you're talking out what's going on in your brain. And like for me, I give you a perfect example. A lot of times I'm in here by myself doing readings on myself. So I'm talking it out and I'm talking to myself, because this is what I will be doing to the client. I will be doing the same thing, but I'll be talking to them. Well, in this case, I am the client. So I'm talking out what I'm looking at. Okay, I see movement here. I see this going on. There's a symbol here. That means this. This is a color. And I'm talking to myself, but I'm just processing what is going on in the table in front of me. I'm not so much, having a conversation with myself as I'm like another person. Like in the exercise I gave you guys the other day, I told you to talk to your feelings like they are another person. Well, in that therapeutic exercise, you kind of are talking to yourself, but you have to be introspective. So in that case, yeah, you're talking to yourself, but it's not the same thing. In that case, you're talking to yourself to be introspective. But on a day-to-day basis, when you find yourself talking to yourself in traffic, or when you're talking to yourself at the chalkboard, if you're a teacher, or if you find yourself talking to yourself when you're at the computer typing out a new storyline or something, if you're a writer maybe, if you find yourself talking to yourself, all you're doing is processing. You're thinking, you're processing, and you're speaking out loud. You can see this a lot on television. They'll have all these, genius detectives, like I used to watch Criminal Minds, and one of the detectives was this guy. His name was Vincent something. He was really a good actor, and his character was a little bit eccentric, not crazy, but eccentric. And I always thought he was Aquarius, but I don't know. They never said. So anyway, so this eccentric character would always talk through things as he was piecing them together. Okay, so this goes here, and so he came in this door, and you hit him with the knife from this way, and he'd be talking to himself, but other people would be in the room listening. you know? And it wasn't that he had, forgot they were there or had lost his mind and was just talking to himself because he was the best company in the room, but he was really talking out the crime. And as he talked, he figured it out. So any of you who ever watched, what is it called? Law and Order Criminal Intent. If any of you ever watched that, you know what I'm talking about. But there are other detective kind of, characters like Sherlock Holmes and certain incarnations that do the same thing. Some of them just talk to the person that's in the room, but if nobody's in the room, they're talking to themselves and writing down clues. So again, if you find yourself talking to yourself, don't think you're going crazy. I used to think that too. In my 20s, I questioned that. But I found out something before I really started to read up on it. I found something out. I had a client, and my client, I was a youth advisor, and my client was telling me that she was hearing voices. Now, according to the psychiatrist that I talked to in the building, because remember we had youth advisors, we had case workers, and we had one psychiatrist. So I went to the psychiatrist and I told her what the young lady said to me, because something about it for me just didn't sit right. And she said that she's hearing voices. And I read the whole paragraph. It was a quote that I had wrote in my, lab, in my, I forgot what they called them, field notes or something like that. But I had wrote it in my notes and I read the whole quote. And I said, she said, I am hearing voices, blah, 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 blah. And after I finished reading her the paragraph, the psychiatrist, who was turned away from me eating a cheese sandwich, turned around and said, she's faking, with a mouthful of sandwich. And I started laughing. And I was like, how do you know? Because I thought something about this wasn't right, but I didn't know. I wasn't as knowledgeable back then, anywhere near it. And I was like, how do you know that? Where did you get that? And she said, because in the first sentence you said, I'm hearing voices. And she was like, a person who's talking to themselves is just talking through whatever is going in their mind. But if they're hearing voices, they're not usually going to say, I am hearing voices. They're going to say, I am talking to this person. I was talking to that person. If a person has a break with reality, they think they're talking to someone. They don't think they're just hearing voices or just talking to themselves. And after she did the evaluation, come to find out the girl really was faking. And that was her first indication that it wasn't true. And she said to me, she said, a person who's lost their grip of reality wouldn't think they were hearing voices. They would think they were talking to someone. And she also told me that many of these conversations are conversations they've actually had in the past. So they're just kind of replaying the conversations over and over again, or at least their memory of the conversation. And she said they're not usually sitting there murmuring to themselves. They're talking to another person as if the person is in the room, because in their mind, they are. You see? And she said, if a person tells you that they're seeing, spirits or angels or something like that, she said there's a difference, because this particular psychiatrist actually believed in spirituality. And she said there's a difference between the two, because she said that either you're actually seeing an angel, you're actually seeing an ancestor, or you just think you are. And she said when a person has had a break with reality, they're just going to think that they are. And they're going to be talking to the person, yelling at the person, putting their finger in the person. They're going to talk to the person like the person is there. And I thought about it and I was like, you know what? She's right. Because I have an uncle who's schizophrenic. I don't know. I think he has a longer diagnosis than just that. But that's the one thing I remember my mother telling me. And he would often talk to himself. But just like the psychiatrist said, he wouldn't be sitting there murmuring to himself or laughing out loud or something like that. He would be yelling at a person or, really talking out to a person or saying, leave me alone or stuff like that. Like he really thought somebody was there. And it dawned on me when the psychiatrist told me what the difference was. So you're perfectly sane. Don't be afraid. You're perfectly sane. You're in good company too, because apparently, like I said before, only those of us who are the most intelligent talk to ourselves. I guess because we want an expert opinion. So I like that. Now, as long as you're not like, like I said before, yelling at yourself or telling yourself to leave you alone, which does happen sometimes. Sometimes I tell my brain, leave me alone. I don't want to think about nothing no more. But as long as you have your grasp of reality and you know what you're doing, then you're not losing your mind. Once you have lost your grasp, you wouldn't even know to ask these kinds of questions, you see, because you would assume that it was a real person that was there. Okay? I hope that helps. All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So if you would like to get in contact with me, all of my information will be under this video. If you would like to have a reading done, please email me because until midnight, all readings are $5 off. There is a half an hour reading for a half an hour for $30. Normally it's 35, and a 60-minute reading for $63 that is normally 68. So if you would like to get a reading done, please email me and I will give you an appointment. My nearest opening is October 21st. So if you want a reading, do not wait. My slots are almost gone. All right. Okay, guys. See you guys tomorrow. Come back soon because I have a lot more to say. Bye-bye.